I move through the ruins of forgotten cities, searching for any trace of Jeil and Flora. Their names guide me more than the broken roads or the collapsed buildings, my only compass in this endless night. For years now, I've carried this purpose, but the path to them has always been veiled, like the fog that clings to every corner of this world. The streets are dangerous, watched over by the spectres. Their presence lingers like a weight in the air, silent, patient, merciless. I've learned to avoid the main roads, for they are heavily patrolled, their shadows crawling with eyes unseen. To be spotted means the end. To be caught in their gaze is to be erased. So I slip between alleyways, through shattered windows, beneath collapsed bridges, moving as quietly as breath itself. My survival depends on silence. I cannot fight them. None of us can. All I can do is hide, and pray the darkness hides me well enough. Each step I take brings me deeper into the labyrinth of this dead world. I know that one mistake, one sound, one glance in the wrong place will end my journey. But still, I move forward because stopping would mean surrender, and surrender is a kind of death I refuse to accept. There are passages that still survive, bridges of stone and rust that stubbornly hold against time and decay. Some remain whole, while others hang in silence, half collapsed over abyssal voids. These bridges connect broken pieces of land, fragments of what once was a continuous territory. For those who travel, they are more than crossings. They are the last fragile threads that keep us tied to each other. But the spectres know this. They search, they prowl, they wait for the moment to bring those bridges down, to sever us, to leave us stranded in solitude. They understand something cruel. Divided, we are weaker. Isolated, we fade into despair. Every time a bridge falls, a part of our memory, of our shared pulse, falls with it. Yet, when we stand together, when we keep the crossings alive, there is resistance, united. There is still a murmur of defiance, a possibility of fire against their cold. The bridges are more than stone or metal. They are symbols, fragile arteries of a humanity that refuses to surrender. In these times, it is no longer about survival alone. It is humanity itself standing against whatever those beings are. They may not bleed, they may not tire, but neither do our voices when they rise together. The streets are watched, yes, but in the shadows of ruined avenues, in the trembling light of the bridges that still endure, the will to remain connected burns quietly, waiting for its moment. Once, in the depths of a gray forest, I met an old man. His hair was long and white, his eyes dim but steady, and he carried with him a strange knowledge, whispers of forgotten magic. From him I learned of something I had never dared to hope for, The resistance. He told me that they had been rescuing those found wandering the streets, the lost and broken souls still clinging to life. These survivors were taken to Alissa, a city that has endured when all others have fallen. Alissa was built closer to the Earth's core, where the veins of heat still rise through the frozen crust. There, warmth lingers, and warmth is what the spectres fear. The cold feeds them, but fire drives them back. I had almost forgotten what hope feels like. For years, my steps carried me forward out of habit, out of inertia, not out of belief. But now, Alissa has given my journey shape. If Alissa is real, if the resistance still exists, then maybe Jeil and Flora are there. Maybe they were found. Maybe they are alive. The thought of them waiting in that city keeps me moving now. Every step forward is a prayer, every breath an act of defiance. I imagine their faces, older perhaps, worn by time, but still theirs. I imagine calling their names and hearing them answer. The path to Alissa will not be simple. The roads are watched, and the spectres know when warmth gathers, when life dares to cling to the earth. I will have to move through the forgotten places, through ruins where silence is sharper than any blade. I know the dangers. I know what waits in the fog, and yet, for the first time in so long, I want to keep walking. The world is still broken, still drowned in gray, but somewhere out there, there may be fire. Somewhere out there, there may be my sisters, and that is enough. The old man in the forest, his hands trembling, but still carrying a trace of magic in his gestures, warned me with a voice that cut straight through my bones. "Beware of the windows," he said, as if handing me the last secret he had before death. At first, I thought he was exaggerating. How could a simple window be dangerous in a world already torn apart? But what he told me was no madness. Those structures are not ours. They were not built by human hands. They are traps. They stand untouched amidst crumbling cities, shining faintly through the fog, calling for us to draw closer. They reflect us. They mirror what we long for, and then they devour. The old man spoke of mothers who saw their children running through meadows that no longer exist, of men who heard the laughter of long-dead brothers, of wanderers who swore they touched the skin of someone they once loved. Each of them stepped too close. Each of them surrendered to the illusion, and none of them ever came back. Their bodies were found later, empty, their eyes hollow, as if the glass had drained the soul out of them. These windows do not show the present. They offer what you crave most, memories that tear you open, lives you ache to relive. They trap you inside moments so perfect, so painfully real, that you forget this broken world outside. And in that surrender, you are already lost. The spectres don't even need to strike. The illusion kills you long before they arrive. I felt it myself once. Crossing a dead city, my eyes met a window that had survived the collapse. And there she was, my childhood smile, bright and untouched. Behind me, Jeil and Flora, playing as if the world had never turned into this grave of ash. My heart shattered at the sight, and for a moment, I wanted to believe. I wanted to walk in, touch their hands, stay. But I remembered the old man's words. That is not you. That reflection is how they hunt, not with teeth, but with memories. I forced myself to look away, though every part of me ached to remain. Since then, I've known the danger isn't only in the streets where the spectres hunt, but also in those cursed panes of glass. They are traps of nostalgia, mouths of glass feeding on our longing. If I fall into them, if I let myself drown in those visions, I will never have another chance to hold my sisters, and the only love still alive in me is for them. That love is all that keeps me breathing. I have seen them. The ships, massive, silent, suspended above the ruins, as if time itself had chosen to leave them untouched. They do not move. They do not fall. They simply float, watching. Some say it is proof the spectres came from beyond the stars, that they are not of this earth. Others whisper the ships are prisons or tombs, carrying the remnants of something far older than we can understand. There was a time before despair had buried us completely, when humanity tried to claim them, to board those vessels and escape this dying world, searching for another planet where warmth and light might still exist. I remember the stories of engineers, soldiers, and dreamers who climbed toward them with desperate hope. None returned. The ships never moved, not even once. They hang there still, above us, haunting the sky. Unreachable, unknowable. Were they left as a warning? A weapon? A memory of those who doomed us? I cannot tell. I only know they do not belong to us. They never did. And yet, every time I look at them, I feel as though they are waiting, watching, patient. Perhaps they have been here since before I was born, perhaps since before the oceans vanished. I do not know if salvation lies within them, or if stepping inside would mean something far worse than death. I move toward Alissa with everything I have left inside me. My body aches, my mind fractures under the weight of silence, but my heart refuses to give up. If there is one thing worth fighting for in this ruined world, it is love, the warmth of feeling my sisters' hearts beat against mine, the relief of knowing they are alive, the comfort of not being alone in this endless storm. That hope is the only fire I carry with me. I often ask myself, how did we fall so far? How did humanity collapse into this endless night? The truth is, we are running out of time. Each day, more are lost. Each life, extinguished, leaves us closer to the edge of extinction. The spectres are relentless, and the darkness feeds on our despair. If we cannot unite, if we do not rise together, we will be devoured completely. The world itself seems to conspire against us. Every step forward more dangerous than the last, every shadow hiding another threat. Yet, Alissa calls to me not only as the city of refuge, but as a place of possibility. I have heard whispers that within its walls, the resistance is building something new, an answer, a weapon born from fire, forged in the only element the spectres fear. Perhaps it is just another story, another false hope whispered to the desperate, but I must believe. I must find out for myself. As I press onward, I feel the weight of each moment. The ruined cities, the endless gray, the empty bridges, the silent windows that try to trap me, they are all reminders that every choice I make matters. There is no time to hesitate. My sisters, Jeil and Flora, are more than memory. They are the reason I keep moving. The thought of finding them alive pushes me through the frost, the fog, the ever-looming danger. And so, I walk into the unknown, carrying the weight of my past, the ghosts of those I loved, and the fragile hope that somewhere ahead, in the heat and light of Alissa, I will find both my sisters and the strength to fight back. Every step is an act of defiance. Every breath is proof that I refuse to surrender. For as long as love endures in me, there is a chance, and I will follow that chance to its end.